is that favorite time of the week where you all get to ask me questions about the routine, and right here I provide answers for them. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be answering quite a few client questions. I want to talk about some alternatives for the oblique series. I want to talk about the feet and the ankles in the leg series, and then I also want to give you a quick alternative for that bridge planking series. So let's go ahead and get learning, yeah? When it comes to alternatives for the oblique series, a technique that's really going to help you this week is something called shortening the lever. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example in a plank. What we usually think of shortening the lever is we take one piece of the body and we basically make it smaller, like my knees, so that we're not putting as much strain on the body itself. Does that make some sense? So when we're doing the oblique series and we're laying down, the full extended version of the exercise is both legs long and straight, okay? And then in the video, I give you some options to shorten the lever by taking this leg and keeping the knee bent, and then maybe taking this leg and keeping that knee softer, right? We bend, we make this smaller so that we're not putting quite as much strain on the body. Now, you could shorten the lever even further from here and still have a very effective move. Do you know where you would go to shorten the lever next? This leg would come down to the floor, right? So the three options with this leg: fully extended, long, then you can make it a little bit shorter, bent, a little bit shorter, anchor that foot down to the floor. With this top leg, same kind of thing, right? You could go all the way up to straight. You could keep the leg a little softer. You could press the heel here and then do your crunches, or this leg could actually, hi Papa, touch all the way down to the floor. So there are many different options that you can do with your legs in order to make it feel better for the body. The good news is that this series provides a lot of extra counts for you to play with so that you can figure out exactly where your perfect lever might be, right? So when we do this series, we have a full 8 count that we're twisting. Then basically you have an entire 8 count to get down to the floor and get set. So in this series, we go 1, 2, lay down, 3, 4, hands behind the head, 5, 6, opposite leg extends, 7, 8, we hold, right? So during those 8 counts, you should start to think about what feels best for the body and where should my legs be. So an example may be 1, 2, you use your hands to lay down and you keep your feet set. 3, 4, you maybe get the hands behind the head, or you decide it's better with your head down on the ground. 5, 6, maybe it's figuring out where these legs best serve you, right? So this version I'm showing here, I'm just tippy-toeing the leg that would normally be all the way up in the air, or you could bring it to this, yeah? Now the next 8 count is where you do your crunches, and this part is important just to make sure that you're feeling abs. So I really want you all to see this. It could absolutely be here. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, little 5, just rocking, 7 and 8. Now you're coming back up. Maybe just hold 1, 2. See if you can get your hands set, 3, 4. Use the hands to lift you up, 5, 6. Extend the legs, scoot back, 7, 8. I want to show that series again. So I do my twist here. I can hold on. Now I'm rolling myself down. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5. Get the abs engaged. Hold 7 and 8. My twist, yes. I would take that twist for the full 8 count. Then coming back up, option to reach the hands, option to extend the leg if it feels right, maybe not. Use the hands to roll yourself up if that feels best for you, and then start over. The main point that I'm trying to make here is those 2 transition 8 counts, getting down and getting up. You can use those counts to set up your body and engage in a way that feels good for you. The next thing I want to talk about is ankle tension. I think that this one is a little bit more difficult to describe, but I'm going to try my very best here because I've been thinking about it a lot. So yesterday I was standing in the kitchen, I'm like thinking about all your ankle questions that come in, and I was just standing on one foot and I started doing this drill where I tried to get my ankle muscle to tense and then my ankle muscle to release. Ankle muscle to tense and then the ankle muscle to release. Okay, now if you've watched the tutorial that we have on feet, one of the big things that I talk about is where you anchor the weight in the foot, right? Because it's really important that the toes stay relaxed. And there's 3 points that you want to try to anchor your weight in your feet. It's the heel and then the 2 points on the outside ball of the foot. These 3 points create a triangle and we want our weight to be anchored there. But let me keep going, stay with me. You want the weight to feel like it is almost sinking down. The visual that I have is always sand, really heavy, like running down. And I think a lot of times when people try to press weight into those 3 points, instead of the weight sinking and anchoring down, grounding, instead the ankle tenses and all that weight, like there's still weight in those 3 points, but it's gripping, it's like winding, tangling itself together up here instead of just releasing and pressing down into the floor. So what I want to show you next is I'm going to do a close-up of my foot. I'm going to show you the ankle tensed and the ankle relaxed. And this is a drill that I think you should start to practice at home. Standing on one foot, what does it feel like to grip that ankle and then to release the ankle? Because I do genuinely think that part of the foot cramping is because the ankle is doing too much and it almost needs to do less, which sounds weird, but I do think it's gonna help. So let's get a visual of what that looks like now. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna anchor weight through point 1, point 2, and point 3, thinking about keeping those points down toward the ground. Now I'm going to really pop the muscles in my ankle, watch. There. See how much this is popping out? And right now it's more of a feeling. I can feel myself gripping up high. Now I'm gonna try to relax those muscles while still keeping weight anchored. Now listen, when you're balancing on one foot, okay, you see, these muscles are gonna pop out a little whether you like them or not. So it's not that they can't pop out, but it's that they can't pop and grip so much that they're staying like that, right? Right now I am physically, actively engaging my ankle. Here I am working to release the ankle. Actively engaging, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing in the ankle. Working to release, working to let it anchor down. You can see that muscle still pops a little bit, but that's okay because it's not tensing so much that it's here the entire time. In the routine this week, I give you the option to not lift the heel at all, okay? So if you are experiencing a lot of cramping and when you lift the heel, it doesn't feel good, specifically like in the arch of your foot, it's okay to keep the foot flat. I don't want to force you into that. There's also a world where lifting the heel actually feels good. Do you know why that may be? Because you're stretching out this portion of the foot. You're moving into extension. If lifting the heel here feels good, that means that you're getting a stretch in the ankle, and that ankle stretch feels so good because more likely than not, when you go into this standing part, you're really, really tensing through those ankle muscles. And so therefore, when you get to the heel pop, it's like, oh my God, thank you, I got a chance to take a break. So that could be a sign for you to watch for that extra grippy ankle. Lunge series reminder, when you are doing this series, you do not have to do full arms. So specifically, if you have a shoulder issue, neck issue, rotator cuff, just bend the elbows like this to take your circles. To be honest, I don't have a shoulder issue, and usually every other round I swap between going with a long arm and then going with a bent arm. Then when you get to the next portion where we take the moving side lunge, here to here. Same thing, you don't have to do super big arms in this part. You may actually have better form if you bend at the elbows and move this way. So highly recommend playing with different arm positions as you move through the lunge series this week. And finally this week, I want to show you an alternative for the bridge series using a chair. So just a heads up so you know, anytime in a routine when we go from standing to moving down into some sort of plank position, okay, hands toward the floor, you can like 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10, just put a chair in its place and this series will still flow as is. So let me show you. You would go down 1, up, 2, down 3, hands 4, step, 5, step, 6, and then option to bring one leg in at a time. If that feels like too much for the body, I would simply just hold, okay? There's no sense in aggravating your low back by trying to go single leg. And then, like that, you just step back in, move through the squats once again. Hey, Papa, you were a big part of this tutorial. Come here, you wanna say goodbye? Come here, come on, hurry up. CPO, hi hands. Say goodbye to everybody. Say good luck with your routine this week.